Well, good day, Southeast. I trust that you know that no matter how scattered life is or how scattered you are, that Jesus made you on purpose and with purpose. Been thinking about the fourth verse of John chapter 1. It goes, "In him, Jesus was life, and that life, the life that was in Jesus, was the light of men, was the light of all people." In Jesus, in him was life, and that life was the light of people. I think when it's saying that in Jesus was life, it's saying a whole lot more than simply Jesus had a pulse. I know sometimes we have a tendency to think about, is a person alive or are they not alive? Do they have a pulse? Do they not have pulse? Do they have life in them or not? But for someone to be really alive, they got to have more than a pulse. You and I know plenty of people that have pulses but really don't have too much life in them. So, what was the life that Jesus had in him? In him was life. What was that life? Well, when we're most alive, it's usually because we're doing something we love, or even more, it's because we're with people that we love and with people who love us. And when we're in that kind of fellowship, then we discover that we are really alive. And so, for the word to say that in Jesus was life, I think it's also saying something about his relationship with the Father. That because of his relationship with the Father through the Holy Spirit, there was a life power there, joy, love, peace. And so in Jesus was this life, and I just believe that everyone who was around Jesus knew that, hey, this guy is really alive. In him was life, and he invited people to share in that life. And so he would invite people into the family, into the relationship that he had with his Father. And so as people began to follow him and join him and enter into his relationship with the Father, then they discovered that they too became alive. In Jesus was life. He was the source of life in terms of inviting people into the life-giving relationship that he has with the Father. And that life was the light of men. It doesn't simply say that Jesus was the light, but it says that the life that was in him, that light was the light of men, was the light of people, our light. I think about when Vonda was pregnant with Rebecca, then Rachel, and then John Mark. And you could say about her, in Vonda, in her was life. She was carrying life in her. And that life in her womb became light for us. In other words, we began to think about life differently. We began to see ourselves differently. We began to make decisions differently, all because of the light that she was carrying in her. That was light for us in terms of how to go about making decisions. And so for John to say that in Jesus was life, and that life was the light of people, there's something about the life that Jesus lived, the life that Jesus possessed, the life that Jesus gives, that becomes light for us, a guide for us so that we can see ourselves truly, that we can see God most clearly, and that we can see how to go about life. In Jesus was life, and that life is our light. Light that we can use to navigate life, light that we can use to understand ourselves, light that we can use to see who God is and to see God's love for us. So no matter how scattered we might be, no matter what might be going on, I think we can say that we never really are in the dark because of Jesus. In him was life, and that life is light for us. And so it's never quite dark. There's always guidance for how to live, how to navigate life, how to make decisions, how to understand ourselves and see ourselves, and especially how to know and see God in and through the life that Jesus lived, the life that Jesus gives, the life he invites us into. Well, hope you have a great day, and hope you remember that in Jesus is life, and that in that life of his, there is light for us. Have a great day. God bless.